A disabled veteran faces the death penalty only for her loyal German shepherd to unveil a startling revelation. Verdict and electric hush enveloped the courtroom, holding every breath in suspense. In the matter of the state versus Captain Emma Rodriguez, this court proclaims the defendant guilty of grave charge of first-degree murder. Had bravely endured 3 harrowing tours in Afghanistan before the cruel twist of fate claimed her leg to a roadside bomb, sat in profound stillness. Only the crime compels this court to consider no other option, Judge Hargrove declared with unwavering conviction. Verdict is rendered. You are condemned to face the ultimate consequence, death by lethal injection. Wave of astonishment swept across the gallery, leaving an electric silence in its wake. His feet ready to interject, but Emma, with a steady hand, gently restrained his arm.
"Do this," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, yet the weight of disbelief hung heavy in the air, suffocating her truth. Court officers advanced. Emma cast her gaze towards the rear of the courtroom, where a noble German shepherd stood, sentinel beside an elderly man confined to a wheelchair. "Please look after Max, Dad," Emma exclaimed, her voice laced with urgency.
The German shepherd let out a mournful whine, pulling fervently against the leash, grasped firmly by Emma's father, the seasoned and resolute retired Sergeant Andrew Robe Rodriguez. The old soldier's visage held a steadfast composure, yet silent tears carved their path down his weathered cheeks as he offered a solemn nod. The case appeared unassailable, a fortress of certainty. In a shocking turn of events, Emma's former commanding officer, Colonel Richard Westfield, lay lifeless, a victim of murder within the confines of his own home. The evidence was utterly incriminating. Emma's fingerprints graced the murder weapon, her blood stained the very scene of the crime, and security footage captured her car lurking ominously in the vicinity. The prosecution crafted a vivid tableau of a tormented veteran driven by a thirst for vengeance against the officer who had cruelly denied her the medical leave she so desperately needed. What the jury remained oblivious to was the dark truth of how Westfield concealed the heinous sexual assault allegations within their ranks, wielding threats to strip Emma of her benefits should she dare to voice her truth. The judge had declared these details to be prejudicial. As Emma was taken away in handcuffs, Max surged forward, barking with wild desperation. The service dog had stood by Emma's side since her return from the war-torn landscapes of Afghanistan, expertly trained to sense the onset of her panic attacks and to offer unwavering support when the torment of phantom pain surged to unbearable heights. As the courthouse doors swung shut behind Emma, Max reclined and unleashed a howl so hauntingly sorrowful that it reverberated through the hearts of all who heard it, sending shivers down their spines. With a gentle hand, Robe caressed the dog's head, his touch tender and filled with affection. "I know, my boy," he whispered. "I can hardly believe it myself." Little did anyone suspect that Max, endowed with remarkable senses and steadfast loyalty, had already started to unravel the truths that eluded the grasp of human justice. 3 weeks following the verdict, Robe Rodriguez's unassuming abode transformed into the epicenter of Operation Vindication. The walls loomed adorned with haunting crime scene photos, intricate timelines, and yellowed newspaper clippings, each telling a story steeped in mystery. "They railroaded her," Sam Robe declared to the young public defender, who had been tirelessly poring over the case during his evenings. "My daughter embodies a multitude of qualities. She is stubborn, outspoken, and undeniably brave. Yet let it be known she is not a murderer." "The appeal process has commenced," Sam declared, "yet without fresh evidence we face a formidable struggle ahead." Max reclined at the periphery of the room, his amber eyes keenly following their every movement. Ever since Emma was taken away, the German shepherd has been engulfed in a profound sadness, turning away from food with a heavy heart. Yet this evening, an undeniable shift had occurred. The dog's ears stood erect, his body coiled with a palpable tension, ready to spring into action at any moment. As the doorbell echoed through the air, Max sprang to his feet, a deep growl vibrating ominously within his chest. "Easy now, my dear boy," Robe murmured, gliding gracefully toward the door. On the porch stood a woman in her early 30s, exuding an air of military precision and strength. "Sergeant Andrew Rodriguez, I stand before you as Lieutenant Diane Foster. I had the honor of serving alongside your daughter in the rugged terrains of Afghanistan." She lingered in uncertainty.
"I must speak with you regarding Colonel Westfield. I refuse to believe that Emma is the one who took his life." As Foster crossed the threshold, Max drew near, his cautious demeanor evident as he delicately sniffed her outstretched hand, granting her passage into his domain.
With a heavy heart, Foster revealed, "I yearned to step into the light during the trial, yet I was cautioned to remain in the shadows." "By whom, pray tell, were you warned?" With a voice that carried the weight of curiosity, Sam inquired. "Andrew Philip Garrison. He has seized control of Westfield's position." Foster's hands writhed, with a restless energy betraying the storm of anxiety within him. "Listen closely, for there is a vital truth you must grasp about Westfield." He found himself entangled in a grand tapestry of events far beyond his comprehension. Foster unveiled a chilling scheme, one that entwined military contracts with insidious kickbacks, revealing a dark underbelly where officers siphoned millions from the very programs meant to rehabilitate our veterans. Emma, in her relentless pursuit of justice for herself, had unearthed a web of financial discrepancies that demanded her attention, prompting her to boldly question the status quo. On the fateful night of Westfield's demise, Emma was not the sole visitor to his presence. Foster pressed on, his voice resonating with intensity. "I found myself immersed in the intricate web of communications, diligently fulfilling my responsibilities." Garrison arrived at Westfield's residence precisely 1 hour after Emma had departed. "Are you truly certain of this decision? Anticipation palpable, head in agreement." Yet the security footage from that fateful time frame vanished without a trace from the evidence, shrouded in an unsettling mystery. As Foster spoke, Max glided to her side, his gaze unwavering, utterly captivated by her words. At the mere utterance of Garrison's name, the dog's ears drooped, pressing tightly against his head, as if sensing an impending storm. With a flourish, Foster declared her hand, diving into the depths of her jacket. "Emma entrusted me with this USB drive on the eve of Westfield's tragic demise. She implored me to safeguard it, for within its confines lay the damning evidence of the contract fraud." With a delicate yet purposeful motion, she set the small device upon the coffee table, its presence commanding attention in the room. Perhaps there lies a glimmer of hope within these pages that could aid her in her time of need. Once Foster departed, Sam connected the drive to his laptop with a sense of anticipation. Within its depths lay a multitude of spreadsheets and emails meticulously chronicling the intricate web of the contract scheme. Yet amidst this labyrinth of information, there existed no direct connection that tethered Garrison to the chilling murder of Westfield. "It's a motive," Sam declared, yet insufficient to sway an appeal. "We must acquire tangible proof." In a moment of serendipity, Max sprang to life, striding purposefully toward the corner where Emma's cherished possessions lay ensconced in their boxes. The dog, with an air of urgency, pawed insistently at the duffel bag as if it held secrets waiting to be unveiled. "What is it, my dear boy?" with a swift motion. Robe turned and unfastened the zipper of the bag, revealing its contents with an air of anticipation. Within lay Emma's vibrant running attire, her sleek, prosthetic running blade, and a compact GPS fitness tracker, each item a testament to her unwavering spirit and determination. "When did Emma last employ that tracker?" With a voice that echoed with curiosity, Sam inquired. On the fateful day of Westfield's demise, Robe came to a profound realization. Every morning she would lace up her shoes and set off on her exhilarating run. With a swift motion, Sam linked the tracker to his computer, anticipation coursing through him. The data unfurled, revealing Emma's 5-mile journey that fateful morning, a path that veered far from the confines of Westfield's neighborhood. "This completely undermines the prosecution's timeline," Sam exclaimed with fervor. They asserted that she had ventured to Westfield's residence that very morning, yet this evidence reveals she was traversing the opposite side of town. With a soft whine, Max retreated to the duffel bag, his nose gently probing Emma's running shoes, a silent plea echoing in the air. Robe drew them forth, scrutinizing each one with intense focus. He noted with a keen eye these are pristine. Had she graced Westfield's abode that fateful day, remnants of the gravel from his driveway would undoubtedly linger, Sam acknowledged with a knowing nod. Yet again we find ourselves faced with an inconsistency, albeit one that remains circumstantial. We require an abundance beyond what we currently possess. Just as Sam was about to step out, Max erupted into a fervent bark, positioning himself defiantly in front of the door. "What has possessed him?" With a voice that carried both curiosity and urgency, Sam inquired. Robe responded, his voice laced with intrigue. "He wishes to reveal something to us." Emma often proclaimed that he possessed a brilliance that surpassed that of nearly everyone in her circle. With a flourish, Robe fastened Max's leash and swung open the front door, revealing the world beyond. The German shepherd surged ahead, his nose pressed to the earth, guiding them into the depths of the night with unwavering resolve. With an unyielding resolve, Max guided them through the hushed streets, drawing them ever closer to the imposing military base. "This doesn't make sense," Sam muttered, a furrow of confusion etched across their brow as they drew nearer to the imposing perimeter fence. What could he possibly be pursuing? After all this time, Max came to a halt at the service entrance, a soft whine escaping his lips as he gazed longingly at the chain-link gate. Beyond it stretched a vast expanse, a storage area brimming with the essential tools of base maintenance, waiting to be summoned into action. "We cannot venture into that place," Sam declared, his voice laced with urgency. "That belongs to the military." Robe's visage transformed, steeling itself with unwavering determination. "My daughter stands on the precipice of lethal injection, condemned for a crime she did not commit. I shall embrace the risk of trespassing charges." They observed the gate ever so slightly ajar, as if inviting them into the unknown. With unwavering resolve, Max pressed forward, and the men trailed closely behind him. The dog guided them to a line of imposing dumpsters nestled behind a maintenance shed, circling one specific dumpster with purpose, before settling beside it, gazing up with eager anticipation. With a determined grip, Sam raised the cumbersome plastic lid, illuminating the hidden treasures within with the beam of his phone's flashlight. He reported that it is primarily a collection of construction debris. Shattered drywall, tattered carpet. His voice faded into the air, ensnared by the glimmer of something reflective that danced in the light. "Hold on just a moment." With a cautious hand, Sam delved into the depths, retrieving a plastic bag that held within it a uniform jacket marred by the ominous stains of blood. The name tape boldly proclaimed Garrison. Robe inhaled sharply at the sight of Andrew Garrison's uniform. In a swift motion, Sam captured the essence of the jacket through his lens. This may serve as a glimpse into Garrison's entanglement, yet we cannot simply accept it without scrutiny. The chain of custody would shatter into fragments. It would be utterly unacceptable. "We must enlist the help of someone with authority to locate it," Robe declared with conviction. "A person whose integrity remains unyielding to any temptation of bribery." A startling sound erupted from behind the shed, propelling Max into a state of heightened vigilance. With a swift motion, Sam shut the dumpster lid, retreating into the shadows as he drew Robe's wheelchair close, cloaking them both in secrecy. From the shadows, two figures materialized, their voices a hushed yet unmistakable whisper in the air. One remarked that Garrison demands everything to be cleared out by tomorrow. In a decisive move, the Inspector General's office is dispatching an individual to meticulously scrutinize the contract files, What fate awaits the Rodriguez appeal? The second voice inquired, its tone laced with intrigue. It shall remain stagnant, bound to this very spot. The judge, a figure from Garrison's past, stands as an old companion in the unfolding drama. Moreover, who would lend credence to the words of a wounded veteran grappling with the shadows of PTSD when pitted against the esteemed reputation of a decorated Andrew? As the men departed, Robe's grip on the armrests of his wheelchair tightened, a silent testament to his turmoil. It is imperative that we reach out to an individual beyond the confines of our local hierarchy. I know precisely, the individual, Robe declared with a somber intensity. With the dawn breaking, Special Agent Camilla Ortiz of the Army Criminal Investigation Division made her entrance at Robe's residence. A once revered JAG officer known for his unwavering integrity, Ortiz had crossed paths with Robe many years ago. "This had better be worth it, Vic," she declared, her voice laced with anticipation. "I am daring to jeopardize my pension by stepping into this realm unofficially." Robe recounted in vivid detail the events of Foster's visit, the enigmatic USB drive, and the astonishing revelations they uncovered at the base. "Are you truly suggesting that your daughter's service dog guided you to evidence that points a finger at Andrew?" Garrison Ortiz's skepticism loomed large, casting a shadow over the proceedings. Evidence serendipitously discovered amidst the refuse of a dumpster. "I understand how it may come across," Robe confessed, his voice tinged with a hint of vulnerability. "Yet Max has been striving to convey a message to us ever since the moment Emma was taken into custody." Ortiz shifted her gaze to the majestic German shepherd. "Emma had always insisted that this dog was extraordinary," she admitted with a hint of nostalgia. "Yet I cannot simply plunge into the depths of a dumpster solely guided by the whims of a dog's demeanor." "What about the USB drive?" Sam inquired, a hint of urgency in his voice. "That is irrefutable proof of the deceit woven into the fabric of the contract." "Indeed, it serves as a testament to something significant," Ortiz conceded, "yet it does not absolve Emma of the heinous act of murder." With a sudden surge of energy, Max rose and glided toward the front window, his ears perked in anticipation. In the blink of an eye, the unmistakable sound of a vehicle gliding into the driveway pierced the stillness of the moment. Lieutenant Foster strode in, his demeanor fraught with tension. "I apologize for the interruption, but I have a chilling suspicion that someone is trailing me." "By whom?" Ortiz inquired, his voice cutting through the air with intensity. "Uncertainty lingers in the air as I observe a black SUV ominously stationed outside my hotel." Foster extended her phone, revealing a text message that beckoned attention. "Refrain from entangling yourself in affairs that do not pertain to you. This alters the course of events." Ortiz declared, her professional facade solidifying with an air of intensity. "To threaten a witness is to tread upon the perilous ground of federal law, a grave offense that carries severe consequences." "Will you lend us your aid?" Robe inquired, his voice laced with urgency. Ortiz inclined his head with a deliberate, measured grace. "I must adhere to the rules with unwavering precision. To begin with, I wish to conduct an official interview with Lieutenant Foster. We must ensure that dumpster is firmly secured lest anyone dare to tamper with the evidence within." As they crafted their scheme, Max was seized by a restless energy, striding back and forth between the window and the door, his agitation palpable. "What troubles him?" Ortiz inquired. Robe's brow furrowed in deep contemplation. "He feels an undeniable presence lurking in the shadows." With a graceful motion, Sam approached the window, his gaze intent as he cautiously surveyed the world beyond. A black SUV looms ominously across the street, its presence commanding attention. "Get away from the windows," Ortiz commanded, her sidearm glinting ominously as she drew it with precision. "Enhance the security of the Foster call base. Convey to them that Special Agent Ortiz urgently seeks their assistance without delay." Just as Foster was about to dial, a shattering crash echoed from the rear of the house, slicing through the tension in the air. With a sudden surge of energy, Max raced toward the source of the commotion, his barks echoing with fierce determination. "Someone's attempting to breach our sanctuary," Robe declared, his seasoned military instincts surging to the forefront. "They surely must be aware that Foster has arrived." Ortiz took her stance by the hallway, her weapon poised, and prepared for action. "Stand back, every last one of you." The air was thick with tension as the echoes of a fierce struggle resonated from the kitchen, punctuated by a man's anguished cry, while Max's relentless barking pierced through the chaos. In a heartbeat, the German shepherd reappeared, resolutely tugging at the sleeve of a man clad in the unmistakable garb of a military police officer. What on earth is happening? With unwavering resolve, Ortiz advanced her weapon, unwaveringly aimed at the intruder. "Reveal your true self." The man, crimson rivulets cascading from a savage bite on his arm, fixed them with a piercing glare that could cut through steel. "Corporal Jenkins of the esteemed military police. I have arrived summoned by duty to gather crucial evidence linked to a pressing investigation that unfolds before us." "Whose commands echo through the air," Ortiz commanded with fervor. "Grand fortifications." The man responded, his gaze flickering anxiously between Ortiz's badge and the glint of her gun. Ortiz's smile was as frigid as the winter's breath. "Corporal Jenkins, you have just transformed my task into a breeze. In a shocking turn of events, an audacious attempt at breaking and entering has unfolded, accompanied by a brazen theft of crucial evidence. And now the plot thickens as a superior officer finds themselves entangled in the web of obstruction of justice." In a swift and decisive maneuver, Ortiz's CID team enveloped Robe's residence, apprehending Corporal Jenkins with an air of authority. The ominous black SUV had vanished into the night, yet the vigilant base security remained ever watchful, poised for any sign of trouble. "This is merely the dawn of our journey," Ortiz proclaimed to Robe as her team meticulously captured and chronicled the USB drive and tracker data. "Jenkins will speak to preserve his own fate, and as soon as we recover that uniform from the depths of the dumpster, we shall possess the tangible proof that binds Garrison to the very scene of the crime." Robe observed with bated breath as Max sat poised beside the agent, meticulously chronicling the evidence of a mission that appeared to have reached its triumphant conclusion. "What led you to place your trust in us?" Robe inquired of Ortiz. With a graceful nod, she directed her gaze toward Max. "After 2 decades of relentless investigations, I have come to place my faith in certain instincts that guide me through the shadows of uncertainty." From the very start, Emma's dog sensed an unsettling shift in the air. At times, the truth possesses an uncanny ability to carve its own route, emerging from the shadows with undeniable force. The ensuing 48 hours unfolded in a whirlwind of fervent activity. From the depths of the dumpster, Ortiz's team unearthed the blood-stained uniform of Andrew Garrison, a grim testament to the chaos that had unfolded. Forensic tests would soon reveal the chilling truth: the blood was that of Colonel Westfield. Corporal Jenkins, now ensnared in a web of grave accusations, had chosen to cooperate, unearthing the shocking truth that Garrison had commanded him to strategically place Emma's DNA evidence at the very heart of the crime scene. Yet just as triumph appeared to be at hand, a catastrophic strike emerged from an unforeseen quarter. With a thunderous entrance, Sam declared, "They've moved up Emma's execution date," as he stormed into Robe's home, where Ortiz was meticulously sifting through evidence. This morning, the governor put pen to paper, sealing the order with a flourish. "The clock is ticking. We have but 10 days remaining." "That's utterly impossible," Robe exclaimed, his voice rising with fervor. "The journey through the appeals process can stretch on for months, and in some cases even years, not when the governor proclaims it a case of extraordinary circumstances." Sam's face was ashen as he explained. He presented an avalanche of compelling evidence, underscoring the atrocious nature of the crime committed against a valiant officer adorned with honors. "This is Garrison pulling the strings," Ortiz declared, his voice heavy with foreboding. "He is acutely aware that we are drawing ever closer. He is scheming to eradicate Emma before we can unveil the truth of her innocence. Why can't you apprehend him at this very moment? Robe's voice trembled as he made his demand. Behold, you possess the uniform along with Jenkins's compelling testimony. It's not as straightforward as you might think, Ortiz responded, his voice laced with a hint of gravity. We must construct an unassailable case. Should we act prematurely and Garrison slips away on a mere technicality, Emma's plight will plunge into an even deeper abyss of despair. Max, who had been lounging near Robe's chair, abruptly lifted his head, his ears standing alert as if attuned to a faint sound that only he could perceive. "What is it, my dear boy Robe?" inquired his gaze, drawn to the dog's poised and watchful stance. With a determined grace, Max rose and approached Emma's duffel bag once more, his paws pressing against it with an urgent insistence. "We've already checked her running gear," Sam declared, yet Robe, with a flourish, wheeled over and dramatically emptied the bag in its entirety. "Hold on," Robe exclaimed, his fingers tracing the contours at the base of the bag. A presence lingers in the air. With a keen eye, he discovered a narrow opening in the fabric's embrace, and with utmost care retrieved a minuscule memory card, its significance shrouded in mystery. Emma had always been consumed by an overwhelming paranoia regarding backups. With a swift motion, Ortiz grasped the card and slid it into her laptop, anticipation hanging in the air. "It's encrypted," she declared after a brief pause. "This will require time to unravel. Time, a fleeting spectre, eludes our grasp." Robe, with a commanding presence, brought her back to the moment. "I know someone who can assist," Foster proposed, "a tech specialist from my unit. She embodies trustworthiness and discretion, a rare combination that inspires confidence and respect." As Foster dialed the number, Max exhibited an odd restlessness, darting between the duffel bag and the front door as if desperately attempting to convey a message beyond mere words. Robe noted with keen awareness that he yearned to escape, much like he had in times past. As Emma's execution date looms ever closer, Ortiz remarked, "We can't follow a dog around," yet her voice betrayed a wavering certainty. She had witnessed with her own eyes the true extent of Max's formidable power. "What if he possesses knowledge beyond our understanding?" Robe proclaimed with unwavering determination. "There is an elusive element that escapes our grasp." Ortiz paused, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face before finally giving a resolute nod. "Very well, you and Sam shall pursue Max without hesitation. Foster and I shall embark on the intricate task of decrypting this memory card, yet tread lightly, for Garrison's watchful gaze is omnipresent." Once more, Robe and Sam trailed behind Max as darkness enveloped them. In this moment, the German shepherd guided them to an unfamiliar realm of the base, the administrative section, a place where the secrets of personnel records lay hidden. "We cannot breach the fortress of the records office," Sam murmured, their voice barely rising above the shadows as they neared the ominous structure. "Such an act is a grave violation of federal law." Yet Max did not guide them to the grand entrance. Instead, he glided around to a maintenance door at the rear of the building, where a lone figure lingered, exhaling wisps of smoke from a cigarette. Sergeant Willis Robe called his voice a gentle whisper, acknowledging the presence of the base's esteemed head records clerk. The woman gasped in surprise, her heart racing, but soon her tension melted away as her eyes fell upon Robe. "Sergeant Andrew Rodriguez, I had fervently wished for your presence." "Ah, so you anticipated our arrival?" Sam inquired, a look of bewilderment crossing his face. Willis nodded, her cigarette falling from her fingers, meeting its end beneath the force of her boot. Lieutenant Foster extended a hand, suggesting that you may require access to certain files that have been shrouded in restriction. Robe observed with a weighty tone that you are jeopardizing your career. Willis's expression turned steely. "My brother returned from Afghanistan carrying the heavy burden of PTSD." The system betrayed him, leaving him adrift in a sea of despair. I shall not allow it to falter, Captain Rodriguez, not for a moment. With a flourish, she brandished the key card aloft. Time is of the essence. You have but 20 fleeting minutes before the security patrol embarks on its rounds. Within the confines of the room, Willis guided them toward a glowing computer terminal, the air thick with anticipation. What is it that you seek, precisely? Anything that ties Andrew Garrison to the chilling murder of Colonel Westfield, Sam elaborated. With a flurry of keystrokes, Willis danced across the keyboard effortlessly, circumventing the security protocols as if it were second nature. Last week, Garrison commanded that all files pertaining to Captain Rodriguez be shrouded in secrecy. Such a thing is quite extraordinary for a mere murder case. "Can you access them?" Robe inquired, his voice laced with urgency. "Already done," Willis replied, her eyes darting across the screen with a fervent intensity. Something peculiar lingers in the air. The initial forensic report concerning the murder weapon stands in stark contrast to the evidence unveiled in the courtroom. With an eager intensity, Sam leaned forward. "What do you imply?" In light of this revelation, the preliminary examination unveiled 2 unmistakable blood types upon the knife, one belonging to Westfield, and the other an enigmatic sample yet to be identified. Yet the court's evidence spoke solely of Westfield's blood and the delicate trace of Emma's fingerprints. It dawned on Sam with a chilling clarity they had concealed the existence of another individual at the scene. Willis pressed on, relentless in his pursuit. There is so much more to unveil. Garrison demanded that Colonel Westfield's personal belongings be surrendered to him rather than to Westfield's family, asserting it was crucial for an ongoing investigation. Max, who had been sitting with unwavering patience by the door, suddenly sprang to attention. His ears twitched, attuned to the faintest sounds echoing from the hallway. "A presence approaches," Robe cautioned, his voice laced with urgency. With a swift motion, Willis logged out in an instant. "Take this," she declared, extending her hand toward Sam with a flash drive glinting in the light. "I have meticulously gathered every piece of information I could uncover. Now make your way to the rear exit without delay." They glided away just as the echoes of approaching voices filled the air around the records office. With an air of confidence, Max guided them through the enveloping shadows, deftly evading the watchful eyes of the security patrol with an almost supernatural grace. Upon returning to Robe's abode, they discovered Ortiz and Foster ensconced over the laptop, their faces etched with a somber resolve, a fierce determination flickering in their eyes. "The memory card has been successfully decrypted," Ortiz proclaimed. Within its depths lies a recording, a haunting echo of Emma's final encounter with Westfield, captured just a day before his tragic demise. With a flourish, she unleashed the audio file into the air. Emma's voice resonated with clarity, cutting through the air like a vibrant melody.
"I am fully aware of the deceit surrounding the contract, Colonel. It has come to my attention that you and Garrison have been siphoning off funds intended for the noble cause of veteran rehabilitation." Westfield's reply was steeped in disdain.
"Captain, your claims lack the evidence necessary to withstand the scrutiny of a courtroom. And given your past with PTSD, who would dare to believe you? I possess the financial records," Emma retorted with conviction, "and I am not alone in this knowledge. Should any misfortune befall me, all shall be entrusted to the Inspector General. Are you daring to threaten me?" Westfield's voice took on a menacing edge. "I am offering you an opportunity to choose the path of righteousness," Emma declared. "Reimburse the funds at once, relinquish your commission at once, or I shall take my truth to the world." With a commanding presence, Westfield concluded the recording by instructing Emma to exit his office. "This reveals the motive," Sam exclaimed with fervor. Westfield trembled at the thought of Emma unveiling the nefarious plot. Moreover, Garrison found himself with even greater motivation to quell Westfield's voice should he suspect that the colonel might divulge secrets in a desperate bid for self-preservation, Ortiz interjected. With a flourish, Robe presented her the flash drive from Willis. There is so much more to unveil. The initial forensic report revealed the presence of blood from an unidentified individual on the murder weapon, a crucial piece of evidence that was tragically suppressed during the trial. As Ortiz connected the drive, a fierce resolve ignited within her, her gaze intensifying as she delved into the files before her. This is the moment. Armed with the recording, the forensic discrepancies, and Garrison's blood-stained uniform, we possess ample grounds to urgently petition for a stay of execution. Will it truly suffice? Robe's voice trembled with a palpable fear for his daughter. It must be, Ortiz declared with conviction. This matter shall be presented to the federal prosecutor without delay tonight itself. As the documents for the prosecutor were meticulously prepared, Max found himself engulfed in a tempest of agitation, his restless form pacing fervently between the front door and Robe's chair. What shall we do now? With keen eyes, Sam observed the dog's every move, captivated by its behavior. In an instant, the lights within the house extinguished, casting them into an enveloping abyss of darkness. That's no mere coincidence, Ortiz declared, her hand moving purposefully toward her weapon. All of you take cover now. Through the window, shadows danced across the front yard, revealing the ominous approach of at least 3 men, each advancing from a different direction towards the house. Garrison is poised to strike, Foster murmured with urgency. He is acutely aware that we possess the undeniable evidence. We must deliver these files to the prosecutor, Ortiz declared with fervent urgency. All that remains are mere imitations. Robe's gaze fell upon Max, who now stood poised by the back door, a figure of quiet intensity. An idea has struck me like a bolt of lightning. Sam, hand over the flash drive and the memory card, if you please. What thoughts dance within your mind? Ortiz inquired, his voice laced with curiosity, as Robe deftly secured a small pouch to Max's service vest. Emma meticulously prepared Max for a myriad of scenarios, including the urgent task of delivering emergency messages. Robe elaborated as he secured the evidence within the pouch. He possesses an unparalleled understanding of the base, surpassing all of us. You intend to dispatch the dog on a mission to convey vital evidence. Ortiz's skepticism was unmistakable, a shadow that lingered in her gaze. Do you possess a more brilliant idea? Robe challenged, his voice laced with intensity. Those men out there will fire upon us the moment they lay eyes on us. Max possesses the uncanny ability to glide through the shadows, unseen and unheard. Even if he possessed the means, Sam contended, to what destination could he possibly venture? The heart of the city houses the prosecutor's office. It was not the prosecutor, Robe declared with a fervent intensity. General Winters, the esteemed base commander, has been acquainted with Emma since her days as a cadet. Should he lay eyes upon this evidence, he will spring into action without hesitation. Ortiz paused, his mind swirling with thoughts. Then, with a decisive nod, he affirmed his choice. Though fraught with peril, this may very well be our sole opportunity. We shall orchestrate a grand diversion, a captivating spectacle, to lure them away from the rear of the house. Robe sank to his knees beside Max, cradling the dog's face tenderly between his hands. Seek out General Winters, my boy, just as Emma instructed you. Seek the commander. Max's keen gaze appeared to grasp the profound weight of the undertaking ahead. He remained utterly motionless as Robe affixed a note to his vest right next to the evidence pouch. Ready? Ortiz inquired gracefully, positioning herself by the front window. With a subtle nod from Robe, Ortiz unleashed 2 shots through the window, intentionally avoiding the advancing men yet compelling them to seek refuge. Amidst the swirling turmoil, Robe cautiously opened the back door, allowing Max to glide into the enveloping shadows of the night. The German shepherd vanished into the shadows of the night, bearing away Emma's final glimmer of hope for justice. Max glided through the shadows, a spectre of silence, his training and instincts propelling him toward the lair of the base commander. The burden of the evidence pouch clinging to his vest paled in comparison to the monumental significance of his mission. Twice he stood, motionless, heart pounding as patrols swept past in the shadows, his dark coat merging seamlessly with the cloak of night. He veered away skillfully, navigating past a contingent of soldiers rushing to the scene of the gunfire echoing from Robe's residence. Amidst the turmoil, he steadfastly pursued his path, propelled by an unwavering devotion to his captive mentor. At the threshold of the base commander's residence, Max confronted his inaugural true challenge, the formidable security detail stationed outside. 2 armed MPs stood resolutely at the front entrance, their vigilant presence a stark reminder of authority, while a third moved with purpose, patrolling the perimeter with unwavering focus. The German shepherd prowled the perimeter, its keen eyes scanning for any hint of an opening. In the depths of the back garden, he stumbled upon it where a partially ajar window beckoned him toward a room that seemed to whisper secrets of a study long forgotten. With meticulous finesse, Max glided through the slender passage, descending with a whisper onto the plush carpet within. As General Winters toiled late into the night, poring over a mountain of documents at his desk, a delicate whine pierced the silence, compelling him to lift his gaze. The sight of Emma Rodriguez's service dog poised in his study, a pouch elegantly affixed to his vest, rendered the general momentarily at a loss for words. Oh, Max! At long last he succeeded in identifying the unmistakable German shepherd. What brings you to this place? The dog gracefully approached the desk, sitting poised and gazing with eager anticipation at the general. With a keen eye, Winters observed the note affixed to the vest and delicately detached it as if unveiling a hidden secret. Compelling evidence that exonerates Emma Rodriguez, Captain Rodriguez found himself ensnared in a web of deceit, the sinister hand of Andrew Garrison orchestrating his downfall. Lives hang in the balance. I beseech you for assistance. Winter's face transformed, the flicker of confusion giving way to a deepening concern. With a swift motion, he unsealed the evidence pouch, revealing the hidden treasures within a flash drive and a memory card, each holding secrets waiting to be uncovered. With unwavering resolve, he plunged the flash drive into the depths of his computer, embarking on a meticulous exploration of the files within. Meanwhile, within the confines of Robe's abode, the circumstances had spiraled into chaos with alarming swiftness. With relentless determination, Garrison's men surged forward, overpowering Ortiz and seizing control, leaving no one unbound in their wake. Andrew Garrison himself burst onto the scene, his usually pristine uniform in disarray, his eyes ablaze with a frantic urgency. "Where, oh, where is the evidence that we so desperately seek?" he commanded, casting a shadow over Robe's wheelchair. "What proof do you possess?" Robe responded with unwavering resolve. Garrison delivered a fierce blow to his face. "Do not toy with me, you aged fool. I am aware that you possess recordings files. Where could they possibly be?" "Gone," Ortiz declared with an unsettling calmness, her voice echoing as she found herself firmly in the grip of federal prosecutors.
"You're lying," Garrison snarled, yet a flicker of uncertainty danced in his eyes. "Search the house again," he commanded, his voice echoing with authority as he directed his men. "Shatter it into pieces if that is what it takes."
"It won't matter," Foster declared, blood cascading from a gash on her forehead. "It is finished, Garrison. A multitude of souls have come to grasp the undeniable truth now." "No one knows anything," Garrison declared, his composure shattering, "and no one ever will. By dawn, a heart-wrenching calamity will have unfolded as a tormented father, unable to bear the weight of his daughter's remorse, seizes hostages, compelling the police to step in with urgency." "You're actually going to murder a federal agent," Ortiz exclaimed, disbelief etched across his face. "Behold, that is your answer." "You should have never entangled yourself in this," Garrison replied with an icy detachment. "This remained hidden, shrouded in silence, until your relentless pursuit unearthed the truth." As Garrison's men relentlessly scoured the house, the shrill ring of the Andrews phone pierced the tense atmosphere. As he glanced at the caller ID, a wave of unease washed over him, his complexion draining of color before he mustered the courage to answer. "General Winter, sir, this revelation takes us by surprise." Garrison's voice transformed into a tone of reverence, yet the palpable tension lingered in the air. "Indeed, sir, I find myself delving into the depths of a possible security breach. Regrettably, sir, I must inform you that I have not come across any new evidence pertaining to the Rodriguez case." The onlookers beheld the striking metamorphosis of Garrison's demeanor, shifting from a bold assurance to a palpable sense of entrapment. "My dear sir, allow me the opportunity to elucidate. Those files have been wrenched from their rightful context." Garrison's protests dwindled, fading into the background as the general's voice resonated on, unwavering and relentless. "Indeed, sir, I comprehend fully. I shall make my way to your office without delay." He concluded the call, his gaze fixed vacantly on his phone for a fleeting moment before lifting his eyes to his captives, a fierce hatred burning within them. "What actions did you take?" he commanded with an air of authority. Before a single soul could respond, the thunderous roar of military vehicles drew near, saturating the atmosphere with an undeniable tension. Through the window, a vivid scene unfolded as MP vehicles, their lights ablaze, encircled the house in a tense embrace. "Andrew Philip Garrison," a voice thundered through the megaphone, resonating with authority. "Behold, it is none other than General Winters. It is imperative that you and your comrades lay down your arms and emerge from the building, hands raised and clearly in sight. You stand accused, arrested for the grave offences of conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and the chilling murder of Colonel Richard Westfield." Garrison's men cast their eyes upon him, uncertainty clouding their expressions, their once steadfast resolve now trembling like a fragile flame in the wind. "It is finished," Andrew Ortiz murmured softly. "Grant yourself the grace of simplicity." For a fleeting moment it appeared as though Garrison might summon the strength to resist. His hand reached for his sidearm, yet, as the weight of despair settled upon him, he surrendered to the inevitable slumping in a poignant display of defeat. As the MPs strode in, seizing Garrison and his men with an air of authority, General Winters made his grand entrance accompanied by Max, a figure of undeniable presence. The German shepherd swiftly approached Robe, nuzzling his hand with a tender urgency, as if to convey a profound reassurance that their mission had been triumphantly fulfilled. "Sergeant Andrew Rodriguez Winters," declared with solemnity on behalf of the United States Army, "I extend my most profound apologies for this grievous miscarriage of justice. I have already reached out to the governor. The execution of Captain Rodriguez has been momentarily halted as the new evidence awaits thorough examination." Robe extended his hand to caress Max's head, tears of relief cascading down his weathered visage. "Text, you have accomplished it, my boy," he murmured, his voice laced with awe. "You rescued her from the brink of despair." After 3 long weeks, Emma Rodriguez emerged from the confines of prison, stepping into the world as a liberated woman. The governor, in a stunning turn of events, not only vacated her sentence, but also granted a full pardon once the depths of Garrison's conspiracy came to light. She stepped into the radiant embrace of the sunlight, clad in her prison uniform, only to discover her father patiently awaiting her arrival in his wheelchair. Beside him, brimming with barely contained excitement, stood Max. As Emma crossed the threshold of the gate, the German shepherd, fueled by a surge of excitement, tore away from Robe's grasp and sprinted toward her with uncontainable fervor. Emma sank to her knees, enveloping her beloved companion in a warm embrace as he whimpered and showered her with affectionate licks, his whole being quivering with uncontainable delight.
"I missed you too, boy," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion as she buried her face in his soft fur. "Father revealed to me the actions you took. Your unwavering support has been a beacon of hope in my darkest moments."
Robe drew nearer, his eyes glistening with tears of pure joy. From the very beginning, that dog possessed an uncanny awareness of your innocence. He simply had to unveil to the rest of us the way to demonstrate it. Sam and Ortiz lingered in the shadows, allowing the family their precious moment of solitude before stepping forward. Ortiz revealed to Emma that the investigation into Garrison's elaborate contract fraud scheme is widening its reach. A total of 12 officers have found themselves entangled in this unfolding drama. The stolen funds from the veteran rehabilitation programs are on the path to recovery, with Lieutenant Foster now entrusted to oversee the newly reformed initiative Sam revealed. She is determined to ensure that the funds truly find their way to the veterans who so desperately require them. Emma nodded her grip on Max, tightening a silent promise woven into the embrace. What fate awaits Garrison? Confronted with the weight of multiple life sentences, Ortiz responded. In a moment of harrowing revelation, he admitted to the murder of Westfield, driven by the Colonel's menacing threat to unveil their nefarious plot. In a calculated move, he ensnared you, fully aware that your past entanglements with Westfield rendered you the ideal target for blame. The Army has extended to you the opportunity for full reinstatement, Robe declared to his daughter, along with a promotion to Andrew and back pay. Emma cast her gaze upon her prosthetic leg, then turned her eyes to Max, who remained steadfastly by her side. Father, I believe my journey with the military has reached its conclusion. There exist myriad paths to fulfill one's duty. After the passage of 6 long months, the Emma Rodriguez Veterans Advocacy Center finally unveiled its doors to the world. With the backing of a settlement from the government and the generous contributions of those moved by her poignant tale, the center emerged as a beacon of hope, offering legal aid, medical support, and service dogs to veterans grappling with the very system that had once let Emma down. Max embraced a unique and noble mission, dedicating himself to the training of new service dogs while offering solace to veterans grappling with the shadows of PTSD. His extraordinary gift for perceiving anguish rendered him especially impactful among those whose suffering lay concealed beneath their steadfast facades. On the momentous day of the center's grand unveiling, Emma stood before a sea of enthusiastic supporters, with Max gleaming proudly at her side. General Winters, a passionate champion of judicial reform and military cases, graced the event as one of the esteemed guests. As I stood before the unforgiving gaze of the court condemned to death for a crime, I did not commit my faith in the very system I had vowed to protect, shattered into a million pieces, Emma declared to the captivated audience. What rekindled that faith was neither an institution nor a legal process. It was the steadfast devotion of a dog, a creature who grasped the truth when the world around remained deaf to its whispers. With a gentle motion, she extended her hand to caress Max's head, a tender gesture filled with affection. At times, the scales of justice tip in ways we least anticipate. At times, the truth manifests itself in the form of a creature with 4 legs and a nose that glistens with moisture. The crowd erupted in laughter, yet beneath the surface of their applause lay a profound appreciation, a recognition that amidst the intricate web of systems and the frailties of humanity, the truest essence of justice often springs from the most unadorned expression of love. As Emma's speech drew to a close, a young veteran stepped forward, accompanied by a service dog in training, a German shepherd puppy remarkably reminiscent of Max. "Behold the inaugural graduate of our training program," Emma proclaimed, gracefully kneeling, despite her prosthetic, to warmly welcome the puppy. "We shall name him Justice." With a curious tilt of his head, Max inhaled the scent of the puppy, then let out a gentle woofer sound filled with quiet approval. Much like his devoted handler, he discovered his true calling, transcending the role of a mere service dog. He stood as a vibrant testament that truth, no matter how profoundly concealed, will inevitably emerge into the brilliance of the light.